Hello, everyone. So, Rabbi Ginsburg recommended to those who are in quarantine or those who identify with them to be empowered by a verse from Psalms, and it's chapter 102, verse 8. So let's go see what that is. So it's Shakadti Vaeye Ktzipor Boded al Gag. I pondered, and I am like a lonely bird on a roof. So the commentary Rashi says on this, I pondered about myself, and behold, I am a lonely bird on a roof, sitting alone without a mate. And lonely, Hebrew is boded, sitting alone. So this is the Rashi, the commentator does the literal interpretation. So we could just first of all say literally that either we're contemplating maybe we're looking ourselves for a match, for a shidduch, or maybe we could think about others that are in need of a shidduch. So this corresponds to hod, to acknowledgement. This is all that we've been discussing, quite often related to strengthening the immune system, because in Body, Mind, and Soul by Rabbi Ginsburg, the immune system corresponds to the sphera, the divine channel of hod. And in this array, this partsuf of explaining the spiritual side of the coronavirus, so this idea of trying to make matches corresponds to hod as well. So obviously this is something that can be done even in quarantine, right? To think of friends, of others that are in need of a shidduch. And the numerical value of Hine Rivka, that when Eliezer, Avram's servant, went and searched for a wife for Abraham's son Yitzchak, Isaac, so there's the whole story, but ultimately the evil Besuel and Lavan agreed to send Rivka, Rebecca, to with the servant Eliezer, and they said, Hine Rivka, here is Rebecca. So the value of Hine Rivka is 367, which equals corona. So this is again by Rabbi Ginsburg, and I'll link to that. So that's more about this phrase. So this is something that Rabbi Ginsburg has discussed over the years, and I just wanted to share a couple short things about this phrase. Again, this is from Tehillim, chapter 108, verse 8. And chapter 102, verse 8. I'm just going to read it again. I pondered, Shakadti Vaeye, I pondered, Ktzipor Boded al Gag, and I am like a lonely bird on a roof. So the phrase Shakadti, a sheked is an almond. So this is another class from Rabbi Ginsburg that it discusses all about almonds, and this phrase is brought in the footnotes of the Hebrew version of the class, and it relates to the desire to share Torah with alacrity, at light speed, as quickly as possible. And when we think about that, we think about the ability to help another, to warm another's heart. It says, the Mashiach too, even though he is not a priest, he is from the house of David, has to have this ability, not just to reveal Torah, but with the power of his Torah, to kindle the love in the people's hearts, love for God, which rises of itself, meaning that every person serves God from his own power. So this phrase relates to inspiring others and to encouraging others by teaching Torah, specifically the inner dimension of Torah. Now, when we talk about inspiring, this is a feminine construct. So the name of God that is alluded to in this phrase in our sentence that we're talking about now is, it says here, Aeye. So the name of God is Aeye, Asher Aeye. I will be that which I will be, which is how God introduced himself to Moses at the burning bush. And it relates to either the sphere of Keter, which we've been talking about, the sphere of crown, the superconscious sphere of crown, or to Bina. So to be inspired, to have Hashra, that relates to Bina. And so this phrase also relates to the ascension of Malchus. And I'm just finding this from another class of Rabbi Ginsburg. There's a lot of good material here, so I want to make sure to include it. Okay, so it's Elias Hamalchus L'Sharsha Hamiti Birvadla. So this is perfect to our discussion about strengthening our faith and being inspired in this time of quarantine. Is that Elias HaMalchus, the ascension of Malchus, which is our experience of the world. It's the final, the culmination sphera, the feminine consciousness. So when we're talking about the ascension of Malchus, this is a Mashiach consciousness and also a feminine consciousness. Basically, to see the hashgacha pratis, to see the divine providence in our lives and around the world, to see headlines and to raise it up as it were, to strengthen our faith in God. And so until the hamiti v'radla, until its truth is in the superconscious of the Keter, the highest level of Keter, which is Reisha Deloit Yada, the unknowable head, which is the experience of simple faith. So that relates to breathing and all the breathing exercises that we've been discussing. So to breathe joy, which we talked about as the chedva experience, this sharp point of joy. So this is to experience joy in isolation. Now we're talking about to be inspired. So what's to be inspired about? So on the straightforward level is to be inspired to, if we're looking to find our shidduch, or to help others to find a shidduch. But it also means to give birth to new ideas in like new Torah revelations, new teachings, and to make new students, to share our teachings with others, and to inspire others. So that relates to this again, to this divine name of God, Aeye, Asher Aeye. That will be that which will be, which is how the name that again God used in introducing himself to Moses. And Yesod, Boded al Gag, the secret of I'm like a lonely bird on a roof, right? So what is the secret of this? Hagalgata Knodeya is the skull. This is again a Kabbalistic concept. The skull, as it's known, Makor Hagoral Shonasi, in Mazal Yisrael. So it's each day, each tribe, right now we're in the month of Nisan, so there was an inauguration offering on each day where each tribe would bring this inauguration offering for the tabernacle in the desert. And the way that's explained in Kabbalah is that this is a each one is a rectification for the Galgalta. What's the Galgalta is literally skull, but it's the whitening of the skull is the way that the superconscious comes down through mocha stima, through this intermediate between the superconscious and the conscious. So anytime we have this desire to rectify our superconscious, which means first of all to strengthen to go do away with any doubt in God, to strengthen our faith in God. Second, to derive pleasure only from Torah and mitzvot, from the God-given Torah and the mitzvot, the commandments of God. And third, to align our will with God's will. So when we have this in mind, and then we want to venture forth in bringing from our superconscious, bringing from the concealed to the revealed, sharing ideas, good, creative, new ideas with others, based on Torah, based on this divine wisdom. So this is a whitening relates to the whitening of the skull, as it's called in Kabbalah. So this is all the revelation of self, which relates to this name, Ekia, Asher Ekia, I will be that which I will be. So when we talk about fulfilling potential, giving birth to new ideas, giving birth to physical children, in context of marriage, this is it says that the white part of the child comes from the father, and the red comes from the mother. And so this is again all related to chachma, to wisdom of Torah, and to the times that we're now experiencing, either whether we're in quarantine, in isolation, or we're sympathizing, we're thinking about our friends and family that are. And again, it's this phrase that also relates. The first word of this phrase, this sentence in Psalms, is Shekadti. So a sheked is an almond. An almond is relating to the staff of Aaron and to the blossoming of the almonds, which was the response to Korach, who was disputing the leadership of Moses. So the blossoming of an almond, first of all, Aharon, the high priest Aaron, the brother of Moses, he corresponds to Hod also, to the sphere of Hod. And when we want to share good ideas, share helpful, light-filled ideas, we want to do it with alacrity. So the Kohanim, the priests, are the archetype of alacrity. It's called Zrizut b'matinut, deliberate alacrity. It's taught from the Baal Shem Tov, and their service in the temple was just that, with deliverance and in proper alacrity. In another video, we talked about how sometimes alacrity can be not good. It could be, that was actually the Jewish people trying to get Aaron to accept their pleas to make a golden calf, and he tried to delay them as best he could. And so it's interesting. The figure who is known for, we learn about alacrity, is the one who tried to stall improper alacrity. So this is what it means: is that to be deliberate, but to do it in a quick way, but not to spill, not to, as they say, haste makes waste. So to do it in a proper way, but not to delay, especially when it involves helping others. Like as we began with suggesting a shidduch for a matchmaking. That's actually what it says, that when Aaron passed away, the entire people, both men and women, mourned him because he made peace between husband and wife. So now we're saying it's also like to make peace, shalom bayis. So it can happen before the marriage, like a prophylactic to you get them, you decide who's a good match, and then they go out on a date, and they say, you know what, that's a good idea, we're going to get married. And then from then on, he continues on to offer good advice as needed. So we learn counseling and again, making matches in peace in the home from Aaron. And so I think that's good. I'm going to link to a couple things, some really. Well, there's one more thing, is that this name Ekia Asher Ekia is like a connecting to our renewal, our ability to recreate ourselves at every moment. So we talked about, it's like a new beginning. So we talked about giving birth, or both to children and spiritual ideas to teach, to make students, to inspire others. So this is within ourselves. This is at every moment. It's a constant renewal process, and we're constantly looking how to be inspired by our surroundings, by the divine providence, and by everything around us, and to inspire others. So this is again all a quarantine meditation, a very nice, beautiful meditation that is encouraged by again, Rabbi Ginsburg encouraged all of us to ponder, to think about this phrase in Psalms chapter 102, verse 8. Thank you.